You don't go looking when you're fed at home. Do you know? We was competing with each other.
Mums on TikTok crying daily.
I think it's going to take a miracle for me to get married again. Break up before it's broken. I need to lean into my feminine energy more. The point, like, the kids would hear us shouting in the morning before school.
Oh, wow. It's like they will disturb you. Yes. And they can't maintain you.
Because actually without you, I'm fine. There's so many F-boys out here. I still just feel really sad. I don't know why.
The lifestyle show where we learn how to self-coach our way through life to increase self-awareness without judgment. That's me, your host and coach, Kabibi Bailey. Safe space conversations, storytelling and journey sharing. This is the Glow Up Tribe podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Glow Up Tribe podcast. I am your host and coach, Kabibi Bailey, and this is the podcast which is all about the art of self-coaching. I'm curious in some of our internal conversations. So when I sit with a guest, we'll be talking about an aspect of their life and how they got through this. Okay, so today we are joined by Shahlaa Tahira. She is an executive producer. Let me get my words out right. She is also a presenter and she is a podcast host as well. Shahlaa, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming. I just think it's interesting how we are here now. Obviously, we first met about, I don't know how long ago now. What is it? 8 maybe? I'm even scared to say 8.
It's probably at least that because it was pre-kids and my daughter's almost 6. So yes, at least like 7-8 years.
Yeah. So we were doing like supporting artist stuff, which is basically, in short, it's being extra on set. And yeah, I just met Shahlaa. She was just a bright personality. We kind of connected, and then that faded out. And then
to see for you.
And then the pandemic happened and everything else. And then we've kind of come back now because I think we bumped into each other somehow, or maybe it was more than Instagram, because I think I physically saw you and then we've just reconnected. We went to the podcast show as well. So I don't know if it's that, but anyway, we're here.
Yeah.
We are here, and I just wanted to find out how you are. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm nursing a little bit of a hangover, but it could have been worse. I did actually send myself home at the right time.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
was it a work thing or?
Yes, work, leaving drinks. A lot of people was leaving, so it's like a collective leaving drinks.
Okay. So I mean, I found it interesting. So when I was kind of doing some research about this, I came across like a stat, and it was, I mean, I didn't personally know this, but separation of 2 years with the consent of a partner is the second most common reason for divorce, with 27% of the UK marriages ending because of it.
Yeah, I'm currently
That's a bit
in
of
that.
a wow.
I'm in that.
Really? How long have you been separated for?
It's coming up to, it's been 1.5 years.
Wow.
And we've consent to the separation.
Wow.
So with the plan to, in 2 years' time, then apply for the divorce.
2 years from now, or 2 years?
No, 6 more months.
So 6 more months.
Yeah, so you have to be living apart for 2 years to apply for a divorce if you don't want to go down the blame route. You know, there's certain reasons you file for a divorce, but if you've lived apart and you've consented to living apart for 2 years, then you can just divorce without being like, he cheated or she did this, or do you know what I mean? So
is that so separating in some ways is a way to avoid finger pointing?
That, and also I think sometimes it's to see if you're gonna actually divorce, because I think jumping straight to a divorce is like, I mean, you probably had been talking about this for years. No one really does that. They normally go, okay, we're married, but we don't want to be together anymore. Let's separate. And some couples I've heard got back together after that. Like, it's actually made them stronger. I think it's been like this, but I'm definitely at the point where I'm like, no, I made the right decision. So,
wow.
So maybe that's why it's 2 years as well. So you have the time to actually
really process and kind of like take your emotions out of things and actually see things objectively. Maybe that's what happens. So it sounds like, because I found out once again as well when I was doing my research, there's like 5 different stages to the separation. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I don't know the official stage, but I can probably guess them.
And then tell us where you are, which it sounds like I know where you are, but anyway. So we got shock and denial, So in this stage, you might feel numb and struggle to process the reality of the situation, pain and guilt. As the shock wears off, you may feel emotional pain and sadness. You're giving me the face like, I've been there.
I've been there, yeah.
Pass, check.
Yeah,
Anger and bargaining.
Oh, yeah, that one as well.
Depression.
Yeah.
And then acceptance. And something tells me that you were at the last point of...
I think I'm somewhere in between 4 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still, and this was a year and a half ago we separated, but it took up until, was it September this year, so that would have been over a year after the separation that I kind of accepted the depression and started taking antidepressants, and I'm still on them. So I am still in that depression phase, but I also have quite accepted it, I think, as well. Is
this your first time taking any kind of pills with regards to mental health?
Yeah, first time saying it as well publicly.
Oh wow, no, thank you for that.
Yeah, I hate tablets in general anyways. Yeah. And when this all kicked off and I was in, what's the second stage I feel like I was in?
So the second stage was a pain and guilt.
Pain and guilt stage. My therapist was like, and psychiatrist was like, you need to take these. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine. And I have done a lot of self-work. I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of listening to podcasts. I've really drastically shifted my lifestyle in that I was a complete night owl before. My average bedtime was like 2 a.m. Yeah. And now if I'm up past 12, I'm like irritated because I go to bed earlier, I go to the gym. Yeah. I mean, I'm vegetarian, so I've always been quite healthy eating-wise. But I have seen a difference. When people see me now, they're like, I mean, they get the joke. Even at podcast show, people's going, are you Benjamin Button? What's going on? You're aging backwards. So like, I've been doing and am doing, I'm still in therapy, a lot of work on myself. But I remember back when I was maybe like stage 1, 2, and this was suggested, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And it was only until it'd been so long and I'd got through so much, but I was saying to my therapist, like, I still just feel really sad. I don't know why. I said things are smoother. We went on a whole co-parenting course, me and my ex-husband. Okay. Things had really started to fall into place. We were becoming more friendly. Even other factors in my life that was going wrong and started to smooth out. And I was like, I should feel great because a year ago, this was all tragic. And actually it's okay now. But I was still feeling quite low in mood. So I finally gave in. And it's been okay. A lot of people told me, and there's loads of different antidepressants. I'm on sertraline, and a lot of people have had mixed reviews about it. But personally, for me, I think what it's been able to do is help me not catastrophize things. Yeah. Definitely less shouty and snappy with the kids. And just in general, being able to kind of, keep it moving. Do you know what I mean? Like feel a bit sad for a moment, but not dwell in the sadness as much. So it's definitely helping me. I'm worried that I'm like, will I ever come off them?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is the plan is obviously to do the self-work, I guess with therapists, and then I guess gradually work the pills out of the...
The good thing is I haven't had to increase dosage, which some people find. So I've been at a consistent dosage. It hasn't been like it's got progressively worse, but I don't also want to be on them forever.
So what is your resolve with regards to where you're at in separation when you say that you wouldn't go back? Is it because you've worked on yourself too much now and you've kind of evolved into another person and it's just maybe not any longer compatible with anything that your ex is about? And so that's what the resolve is about?
That's a big part of it. And I think, so definitely, the growth. And then also I think I've struggled to do this my whole life, and even now being a mum, it's harder. Just starting to put myself first and put my own boundaries in, and realize what I deserve and like what I should and shouldn't tolerate. And as much as me and their dad's in a good place now as ex-husband and wife, there's still parts to his character and like things that just don't
align.
Yeah, we don't gel. So I think that's what it is. It's about like standing strong and no, actually this doesn't make me happy, so I don't need to tolerate it. Or actually I look at things so differently now that your point of view to me seems quite like tunnel vision, quite narrow-minded. How's
that transition been from doing life together with the children. How many kids?
Two. Yeah. Two little ones as
boy
well.
and girl, right?
2.5-year-old boy and 5.5-year-old girl.
Oh,
they're such babies.
Bless. Oh, but how's that been, that transition in your, I guess, emotionally, mentally, physically, to go from one house, one unit to now I'm doing me single mum, really.
Yeah.
And then now having to do up, I guess, co-parenting, schedules of your weeks now that look totally different. You don't know anything that's going on in each other's lives.
Yeah.
Conveniences. How's that been for you?
The co-parenting was a journey because it's such a negotiation, isn't it? It's like what I want, what he wants, what's best for the kids. So that we're finally
also, what do you need to explain and what do you keep to yourself?
Yes.
Even that, saying, well, you're not entitled to know that anymore, and even that might be a
I'm
bit
busy, and that's as much information as you're getting. It's not the details of my life. Co-parenting was a struggle for both of us, partly because I think he was thinking of himself before the kids. But I have to big up him as a father because he has the kids consistently 3 days a week.
Love that.
Which is why I'm able to be here today.
Yeah.
I actually do my makeup without battling anyone. And there's so many women I talk to who they don't have that physical support. So although he lets me down in other areas, and this is why we're not together, as far as physically, I know my kids are safe, they're with their dad 3 days a week. I can put a bit more time into me and what I want to do.
Yeah, your own ambition, aspirations.
Yeah, because I very rarely, it's only for work things that I get childcare, which is normally my mum. So when I'm not with the kids, to know that they're just with their dads, I wouldn't be able to do nothing what I do if I had to get babysitters because I just don't like it.
And not to mention the money, obviously, as well. Even that, the expense.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, and I think that's, as you say that as well, that's partially what's kept me from getting pregnant, as in terms of, when I say that, and I mean that, and I'll do this on another podcast where I talk about my own personal life and singleness and marriage and being a Christian as well and all of that stuff. I'll do all of that. But in terms of I see mums on TikTok crying daily. Their house is toe up. I don't know. I know this is American. Toe up from the flow up.
Yeah.
Okay. And their mental health is in the decline, and they're having to show up, be a mum, and they've got no support, no nothing. Yeah. And so I think when you're saying that, it kind of, and that's also what, when I hear and see that and what you are benefiting from, I'm like, this is why it's so important for me personally, that I need to be so careful with. And I'm not, I said things happen in life and people do change, but in terms of at least a man being a father, that's so important. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And as I think with the kids, so Rio was just over 1 when we separated. So he doesn't really remember a life of us together. River definitely does. And as they're getting older, I think that's where the separation is impacting them now. So we have done a few family days out activities where we all go together as a family because they have been like, I want mummy and daddy together.
Yeah.
So I'm really aware of that. And I think, my parents got divorced when I was a teenager, but I do remember having 2 parents in the household. And I know in comparison to friends who didn't have that, it does make a difference, 100%, especially having a boy as well. He idolizes his dad. So I can't imagine what it would be like to be a young boy growing up without a father. So yeah, I've told him this, he'll see this now, believe me, bigged him up as a dad to everyone because he really is hands-on. He does his part.
I love that, man. I love that. Because obviously I'm also used to, I'm on socials a lot and it's just so much toxic drama and I'm like,
my baby daddy did it. No, he shows up. He's sometimes late, but he does show up. He's
shows up. Nice, love
never failed to show up when he's supposed to have the kids. Never.
Love that.
So big him up.
Does a part of your heart break for your son, who you look at, obviously he's growing up, and it's obviously because you want to give your kids the world, and it's the one thing that maybe he really does want to value or values at his even young age now, you can't necessarily give him. Does any part of your heart break for him for that, or this
not even for him, for me. we both went into this trying to break they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. His parents separated when he was young. My parents got divorced when I was a teenager. And for me, and that I guess plays into the stage of guilt, it felt so sad to know that we hadn't managed to break that, and actually we're in the same boat. And so I think as I get older, it will hurt me when he's more vocal about it. But at the moment, it just hurts that like, oh, I couldn't make it work. And then therapy keeps telling me, no, like you tried we did couples counselling, we did parenting courses, we've actually tried, even after we first separated, we did date for a little bit to try again. And so she just reminds me, like, you did try everything and you're healthier and happier now. And as long as you like you said, can show up for the kids, that's the main thing, and they know they're loved. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it does hurt. It does. It makes me sad. I don't think any mum has a child thinking, I mean, there are a few, but I don't need anyone. I'm going to do this by myself. Like, I would have loved for us to work out. Yeah.
Oh. So now that you are living your best single life, is the grass greener over this side, or just different?
Yeah, dating wise, I wouldn't say it's greener.
Girl!
I would say it's greener in that, like today I woke up, the kids are with their dad. I don't owe no one nothing. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to lay in bed for a few hours or scrolling. Like no one's going, where's my breakfast? Or why haven't you replied to my message? Or are you definitely meeting me tomorrow? So in that way it's greener. Like I just have so much more control over my
freedom.
Time. Yeah. But this is the gutter, babe, honestly. To the point I've had to have chats with my bestie going, should I definitely be getting divorced? Like, because honestly,
go back to what I know.
Like I've been out here and I'm like, even just last night, it was so annoying at these leaving drinks where it was the talk of, I had a drunken kiss with a colleague a few weeks ago at drinks. And it was the talk of the town. I was just like so embarrassed because I was like, I've worked in this job for over 3 years, and the respect for me as far as like, I'm not that girl in the office.
Yeah.
And now people have gossip about me.
Yeah. Like, they do love that them colleagues when it's like they got something on you now.
Yeah. So there's that. And then there's also just like disappointment. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but there's so many F-boys out here who suck you in, make you think like, yeah, you're the one. And then a few months later, it's all rubbish.
It's like they can't maintain it. I don't know. There's a lot of men as well that I always have these moments where I just literally start talking my own stuff.
Go for it.
But it's like they will disturb you. Yes. And they can't maintain you when you finally awaken. Like you might not even be fully, you're not saying you're game playing, but you're just like, okay, cool, hey, you know. And then they will come and try to prove themselves. And then the moment that you open up or start, the walls start coming down, and then you're like, okay, I can breathe. They don't know how to maintain a thing. Like, tell me why you came to me in the first place.
Yeah,
at our big ages, Shahlaa, sorry.
And they know. Just for personal use, yeah. They know that like they're not really in it. That's what annoys me. So it's like, yeah, I get sucked in, I let my guard down, and then I'm like, oh, that was a waste of time, waste of 2 months. Or, I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm turning down dates. I'm like, I don't want to date. Like, I actually don't. I want to really organically connect with someone, which I thought was the colleague, but obviously wasn't. And see where that goes, because these first dates are horrible. I've come off all the dating apps. It gets so boring. Not Hinge. Everyone brings up Hinge to me, you know.
You went on Hinge?
I feel like I needed to try Hinge. I tried Tinder. I tried Bumble. I tried Black Gentry, which is like all black dating app.
Okay.
I tried, what was the other one? I feel like there was one more. I tried a few of them. But
please do message me later.
I don't know. There's a lot of uncles on that app, man. But yeah, I just think like dating it's the guy. It is. And I was with their dad for almost 8 years. So like dating back then feels so different even to dating now.
It must feel really foreign to you, isn't it? And then obviously you're older now. There's more things that you're probably more aware of about yourself that you want, that you weren't. Obviously back then you probably didn't even know you had in you or wanted, and now you're
And as you said, because of the peace, I'm very much like, what you bring to the table? Because actually without you, I'm fine. Also, like, I will not, and I made a joke about this the other day, I'd have to be dating someone a good year before they even interact with my kids on a this is my friend level because they've never known me with anyone. River remembers me with her dad. They've never known me to be with anyone since. So it's like, I'm not dating for bants. I'm dating for the life
you've got
partner.
2 whole children that...
Yeah. But then also my friend said on the flip side, because you've had the kids now, there's not that pressure either to like settle, because it's like there's no biological clock that's making you think, I need to get married, I need to have kids. Well, you've done it all now. So actually you
and it's
just
so
need to
interesting
wait.
because, you know, and these I've had personal talks with God. I'm on the other side of that. So I'm trying to fight feelings of, Lord, if you don't bring your man in the next 24 hours. I haven't waited all this time to be over 35 and on the other side now, but then still just now go for anything because it's like, do you know, and so it's just such once again, I'll get into this in another podcast, but I'm on the other side and I'm telling my girlfriends about this, obviously the ones that have had kids. I haven't. That's my point.
I met one of my best friends yesterday, and she was saying the exact same thing. Like, I'm really worried. Like, it's getting to that clock. And I was like, babe, please don't rush it, because I've seen so many people do that. And having kids with someone, I feel like, is a more lifelong connection than getting married.
Honestly.
It doesn't matter that we're separated, because I still have to message him and be like, 8 a.m. pick up tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? You know, like normally when you break up with someone, you can really just cut them out your life. No, that is a forever relationship.
Honestly. And some guys as well, they like the fact that they have access to you through the children, because obviously 100%. There's communication. So you always kind of, and that's what I guess where the whole, I don't like saying baby mother, baby father, but even that whole, you know, still sleeping with the, you know, those things happen. Because I guess now even, you know, I guess I've really kind of awoken to, there's different scenarios out there, you know, and people have got different old connections, and there's children sometimes. It just, it's complex. Very complex. So let's just say we're looking back now to pre-separation. What in hindsight, what are some of the conversations that you think you could have had with yourself, didn't have with yourself, to maybe prevent this from happening?
Oh, so many, girl.
Really?
I think one of our biggest problems was that we was competing with each other. We wasn't working as a team. So there was a lot of tit for tat. There was a lot of, you did this, well, you did this. Or, no, I think we should do it this way. Well, I think we should do it this way. We both have pretty big egos, as you can tell. You know, I'm a bit of a boss, babe. And so that, I think his male ego couldn't handle, and it's really weird actually, because at some points in our relationship, he loved it. He loved that I was like, I'll take control, get things done. My job, production, it's very problem solving. So naturally, that's just in me to always want to come up with a solution.
I hear you, because I'm the same way. But we need particular men that are going to be able to deal with that. I don't say deal with it as if it's a chore, but in terms of facilitate that, because we do naturally have that boss kind of like logistics and organising, and we're not trying to necessarily overstep our mark with you or feel like we're running things.
What's the most efficient way? If I can do this better or quicker than you, then fine. But that caused a lot of problems. I mean, I've been called a dictator before.
Wow.
And that's just to highlight one example of like how toxic it got as well. So there was that. There was not competing with him. There was when it got really toxic and really just nasty, and actually a bit like Mean Girls in the Playground, but in a marriage and in a household, to the point like the kids would hear us shouting in the morning before school.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm like so strict in the house about, you're being naughty, you don't want mummy to shout this morning. Like there's a thing in my house about we don't shout, especially in the morning. And then also I just think I've learned from that relationship that I need to lean into my feminine energy more. I think I don't do that enough. I think it comes from being the oldest girl of my siblings. So always having that maternal kind of like, as we were saying, boss energy to get things done. And actually, I love alpha male, but I need to be able to be in my femme energy and not... And allow someone to protect me and provide for me and support me, and not always feel like it's all on me.
Would you say that there's a certain so for me, what's come up for me sometimes, as I even think to myself, and sometimes on socials and when I've watched certain podcasts and stuff, would you say that there's a certain environment that a man needs to create to facilitate a woman's feminine energy? So we don't necessarily want to be, as I said, running things all. Sometimes we just. Thank you. A lot of us do acknowledge. I've come to the conclusion. A lot of us do acknowledge a male's leadership as well, because we're not trying to necessarily go head to head with you, toe to toe with you. We understand and recognize. For me personally, I'm maybe a bit more old school in my thinking. I do believe in the head of a home and stuff like that. And that is the man. I'm not trying to fight you for the position, but I also do believe that a man needs to be a certain kind of man. And when I say that, I mean leader, as I said, facilitator. Even as we look at a garden, like nurturing the plants, to facilitate, to provide that environment that a woman is going to be able to be allowed to be her feminine self. So in some ways it's both of you, like a woman and a man have to come together to make that happen. I
agree. I think the problem was when we first started dating and it was just me and him. I've always been like, I'm a ride or die. I'm going to do anything for my man. So when I did step into that and act in that role, he allowed me to. But then as the children came along and my anxiety, my tiredness, everything got more, it started being like resentful. Like, why is it always on me? Why do I always have to figure it out? So that's in like dating now, something I can definitely look for. Even down to like, if I'm talking to a guy and he's like, let's meet up.
Find the location.
Tell me where we're going. Tell me what time. Tell me what day. Tell me... should I wear heels, or is it a bit more like, are we going to do some activity where I need to be in trainers? And I actually now actively, like in my initial interactions with guys, look for that, because I'm like,
sometimes you just want to sit back. You want to sit back, don't you? Just let's see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're not really, proactive about things. And it's like, fair enough as well, a lot of men aren't detailed. So the whole trainers and, they might not go that far. But my God, like try to.
Because I've turned up before in stiletto boots. And we're at Winter Wonderland. And I will never forget when my heel got stuck in the ground. You know, they put the things on the floor. Ruined my shoes. I was like, are you going to buy me new shoes now? Why would you tell me to dress up like this to go to Winter Wonderland? Like...
Don't.
Honestly.
And there must have been, I'm not gonna lie, there must have been quite comedic seeing just all...
It was too much, and it was muddy and rainy, and it was just like...
Oh my God.
So give me a gist. Yeah, you don't have to be as specific as wear flats, because that might feel a bit intimidating as well. Yeah. But give me a gist of like... We might be doing physical, or we might be just sat down having a meal, so I know.
Would you, as you are now today, would you consider yourself the marrying type? Would you still consider yourself the marrying type?
I still believe in marriage. I think it's going to take a miracle for me to get married again. I think my ex-husband he's such a great man, and he's going to make some woman very happy. And so it's almost like I want to take massive percentage of him and merge it with the things he was lacking, and I don't know if that man exists. Do you know what I mean? Let's say if I took 60% of him and the 40% of him that we didn't really like connect on, I know what those qualities are and find those additional ones. So I don't know, I honestly couldn't answer you now. I think it would have to take me meeting someone really special.
Exceptional.
Who makes me feel, I think another thing that lacks from the marriage is just feeling really appreciated and desired, which sounds a bit shallow, but actually when you are saying forever with someone, those two things are very crucial in you being happy in that relationship, 100%. Because they're the only person, and this is what it got to with me and him. He's the only person in the world who can make me feel that. I don't want to feel desired by Bob on the train. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to feel appreciated like just at work or just as a mum. I want to feel appreciated as a partner. And so, I think... I think the constant, what I'm seeing a lot as well, when I watch a lot of stuff, as I said, just for even my own information purposes and growing as an individual. And, even these men that have been married for 25 years, wooing their wives in the 13th year, 15th year, because no one's going to do it but them. Like, as in, everything that another man will tell her, I've already told her. Yes, exactly.
That's that kind of thing. Like, that's the energy that they're giving.
And you don't go looking when you're fed at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you feel content, you could have the most gorgeous person staring at you, and you're oblivious to it because actually your heart's so secure somewhere else. So I think it would take a lot, but I never say never. I have said no more kids, but also if I find that spectacular
Yeah,
man,
you might
who
want a baby with
knows?
them. Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. So someone that is going through divorce right now, what would you say to them? What's something that you would share
going
with
through
them?
the process, or like considering to go through the process?
I think both, girl. Honestly, it's so deep. Just go through the considering and then go to the actual doing it.
So considering, I think couples therapy, I'd done therapy before, but he never had. And I think what it did for him is it allowed him to actually, when you're going through this like struggle of trying to make a relationship work, it's very easy to like blame the other person for all the things that's going wrong. And so couples therapy really helped him reflect on like what he wasn't doing and what he needed to improve on. And if you're not a very self-aware person, it will only be an outside party who can point that out.
Yeah.
But then if it's a friend or family member, it's because they're your sister or they're your cousin. Or so I think couples therapy, if you're considering it, is a very strong thing. I think also giving space for undifficult conversations. I think that was another barrier in our lead up to our separation, was that those difficult conversations, it was so hard to have them, so hard to manage them. And so we never really got through any completely. And so if you can't afford couples therapy, you have to try and have those difficult conversations. And then the last, if you're currently going through a divorce, and as you said, the 5 stages are real. I would say my main thing in hindsight, looking back, is just try not to lose that piece of yourself. So something I was advised, it's so silly, but it was like, go and get your nails done every month. Do something that just reminds you like who you are, makes you feel good, makes you feel happy. Yeah, because it's horrendous. I think I read somewhere it's the top most stressful thing. I think moving's number 2 and divorce is number 1. Yeah. And so it's just about,
not to mention how it's described, like death, basically. Yeah. It's like you've lost.
You're grieving. Yes. Yeah, you're grieving your marriage. So just please take care of yourself. Do something nice for yourself. It can be so small. It can be like if you just love chocolates and you're on a diet, like skip it one day and have your chocolates. Do you know what I mean? But just do something nice and be kind to yourself. Yeah.
Love that. So yes, something that I found, it's just a very simple quote. I found this online. Breaking up is hard to do, but surely it doesn't have to be a toxic car crash.
There's something funny that Diary of a Dad. Let's not bring him up. What's his name? Oh my God. Dope Black Dads founder and podcaster.
Oh,
Marvin Harris.
Yes.
It's Harrison, isn't it?
Yeah, Marvin, yeah.
He said on my podcast, actually, he said that break up before it's broken. And you know what? Like anyone who's going through it, that saying will resonate with you 100%, because I think that was part of our problem as well. We waited until it was literally broken pieces on the floor. Whereas like when you see those cracks, maybe you need to start having those difficult conversations rather than wait until it's complete toxic.
Yeah, love that. And on that note, that is another Glow Up Tribe podcast episode. I've learned a lot. I mean, as I said, I haven't even got married yet, and it's just something else once again to consider. I really like getting people's takes on life and where they are at, and so thank you for sharing as well, because it's obviously a vulnerable thing. Even though we didn't climb up in your business, and we didn't do that for a reason.
I didn't cry as well. Thanks, Sertraline.
Should be like advert, isn't it?
Honestly. Oh no, because it is very different depending who you are.
Oh my God.
Disclaimer, T's and C's.
But yes, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we will see you on another episode. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications of our uploads, and join the conversation over on our Instagram @the Glow Up Tribe Pod.